Good afternoon and welcome to Winchester News Online. I'm Olympia Akamrich. Coming up, police appeal for witnesses after Stanmore burglary. The Pickleball European Championships come to Hampshire. And a feast for the ears at Winchester Cathedral. Many people see Winchester as a safe place to live, but that has been thrown into question recently. A burglary in Stanmore has risen concerns about the security of living in the city. Lenny Teague is here with me to explain. So Lenny, what can you tell me about this incident?
Well, the burglary is said to have happened on Stanmore Lane on Friday the 15th of November between the hours of 5:45 p.m. and 8:10 p.m. Hampshire Police have now appealed for witnesses after two men were seen leaving the scene for a back gate, with one of them carrying a rucksack.
And how does this compare to other incidents in Winchester?
Well, it follows a recent trend, as there were 18 burglaries reported in the southern and central areas of Winchester in September. That was an unusually high rate, however, with a lower number of reports made over the spring and summer months.
And if we're talking about on a wider scale, for example in Hampshire?
Well, Crime Stoppers revealed that there were 2,814 residential burglaries in Hampshire, recorded by the Hampshire and Isle of Wight Constabulary in the 2023 and 24. But Hampshire currently sits in the top 50% of the 54 UK counties for burglary rate. But despite this high amount, the burglary rate in Hampshire is currently dropping at a steady rate since 2017.
Thank you, Lenny. According to human rights activists in Iran, 133 people were reported to have been executed in the last month. In response, many have been opposing the regime from the UK high streets, including here in Winchester. Maeve Corbett tells us more.
The weather didn't do much to stop Farah Mahmoudi and Mehdi Manesh from calling on the people of Winchester to sign their petition to stop killings in Iran and designate the country's regime as a terrorist organisation.
So we'll be here to helping the MPs and local MP to pushing the Iranian government to stop execution in Iran.
They are part of the Academics in Exile, an association which campaigns to highlight what it calls Iran's brutal human rights violations. Perhaps you've seen them or others in the association around Manchester, Sheffield, or even in Southampton in the last few months, where they mark the 2-year anniversary of the uprisings triggered by the death of Mahsa Amini, a young Kurdish woman who died unexpectedly while in custody for allegedly violating rules requiring women to wear headscarves. This is their second time this month trying to convince the people of Winchester to support political prisoners and oppose torture and executions in Iran. We contacted the Iranian embassy in London for a comment, but have not yet received a response.
Maeve Corbett, Winchester News Online.
With bills across the UK having climbed to over 50% higher than pre-COVID levels, the cost of living crisis is not over yet. Emily Byway tells us more about the increase in energy and gas caps.
Energy and gas prices are set to rise yet again. With winter weather set to plummet in the next few months, more people are having to make the tough decision to go without heating. The overall annual bill for the average household using the typical amount of energy is going to increase to £1,738 per year. This is an increase of £21 from the previous cap in October. Every 3 months in England, Scotland and Wales, Ofgem sets the energy price cap for over 26 million households. The cap fixes a maximum price that can be charged for each unit of energy on a standard tariff in a typical household. This cap has been increasing with the rise of inflation and the cost of living. There was a bit of relief with the cap falling in April and July this year, but we saw it increase in October and it will rise again in January. However, with the caps being based on a standard household, this means should your household use more electricity, the price could climb even higher. Experts are recommending using meter readings to ensure you're given an accurate price. There is an alternative to these changing charges. A fixed rate charge could be the choice for many, as it means the price will not change throughout the year. If you are worried about these increases, the £500 million Household Support Fund was introduced to help vulnerable customers. This was set to end in autumn this year, but Work and Pensions Secretary Liz Kendall has extended this until March next year. The Warm Home Discount Scheme, as well as the government's Fuel Direct scheme, are also there to help. Along with these, energy and gas suppliers must offer customers affordable payment plans and repayment plans to support their customers.
A historic statue in the heart of Winchester is set to undergo work after the City Council has been given permission by Historic England. Rhys Huggett is there for us.
After years of discussion, proposed work on Winchester's Buttercross statue has been granted consent. Permission has been given for the removal of moss, ingrained dirt, and the installation of humane pigeon deterrents. The statue is believed to have been commissioned by Cardinal Beaufort, a 15th century Bishop of Winchester. After its construction, it served as a market cross where butter, cheese and eggs were sold on the steps here. The council are in the process of selecting a contractor and work is expected to start sometime next year. Back to you.
The alarming number of dogs and cats being abandoned in the winter months has been revealed. The RSPCA is highlighting the shocking increase in animal abandonments since the cost of living crisis began. Alexandra Stapleton tells us more.
The RSPCA has announced alarming figures revealing a 51% rise in abandoned animals during the winter months. In 2021, there were almost 400 recorded abandonment incidents in Hampshire, compared to 423 last year, a 12% increase which has been attributed since the cost of living crisis began. The statistics shared as part of their Join the Christmas Rescue campaign focused on highlighting the tough winter ahead for animals. The charity received almost 21,000 reports in 2023 and over 19,000 reports so far this year. Before the cost of living crisis, there were over 16,000 reports in 2020, marking a 30% increase over 3 years. The number of abandonment reports have climbed year on year, climbing from over 17,000 to almost 20,000 over the last few years. The RSPCA said that the increasing financial hardships due to soaring living costs have led to an increase in people dumping their pets. The charity's Chief Inspector Ian Briggs said that he expects the trend will continue as more pet owners face financial hardships at this time of year. During the winter months, the RSPCA expects the crisis to worsen as more people struggle around Christmas time with presents to buy and extra food shopping, coupled with increasing energy bills.
What word would you use to describe the year? Oxford Dictionary has announced their shortlist ahead of crowning its Word of the Year for 2024. Reporter Kieran Tibbett explains more.
Brat, bed rotting, ick, and skibbity. We've had some quite interesting slang added to our language this year. It's time to crown Oxford Dictionary's Word of the Year, and there's 6 for the public to choose from.
Demure, reserved or restrained in appearance or behaviour. Lore, a body of facts and information. Romantasy, a combination of the romance and fantasy genre. Slop, inaccurate content generated by AI. Dynamic pricing, varying prices that reflect the market conditions. And brain rot, a supposed decline of one's intellectual state.
The more often they're used, the more common they become, and eventually they worm their way into the dictionary. I mean, it's ever been the case throughout history that language is liquid and it changes over time. So once a word has been defined as something, it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way forever.
Previous winners include Vax in 2021 and last year's Gen Z favourite, Riz.
But which word should be the winner?
Probably slay.
Brat.
Brain rot.
Voting closes on the 28th of November, with the winning word earning its place in the Oxford Dictionary. Kieran Tibbett, Winchester News Online.
And now let's hand over to sport with Lenny Teague.
Here's a sport you may never have heard of. The Pickleball European Championships were held in Southampton over the weekend, and Guy Nicklinson was there to tell us all about it.
Pickleball is a racket sport that combines elements of tennis, badminton and table tennis. It is played on a badminton-sized court, with a lower tennis net and an extra large table tennis-like ball. The event included an opening ceremony, with all teams entering the venue alongside their country's flag. Pickleball England competed at the event, along with teams from 23 other countries.
There's been so many countries, we didn't even know where pickleball was being played, so it's really cool to see that there's so many different players all coming together through sport, and the atmosphere's been amazing so far.
2 gold and 4 silver medals saw England crowned overall winners. The event was a big success. So what is it about the sport that draws players to it?
In the game and the atmosphere around the court, the people, the teammates, so it's wonderful.
I think that the pickleball is a social game. That's really nice.
And it's faster than any sports. It's so fast.
Yeah.
So that's why I like it.
What would players say to anyone considering giving pickleball a go?
Rent a court everywhere. You can play on a badminton court. It's the same size. And get some paddles and a ball, put the net down, and then you can play and have some fun. So it's from every age, from 6 years, 5 years to 90, I think. So that's a great thing with the sport.
Do it, just try it, because I think it's the most accessible sport almost in the world. Like, anyone can play. It doesn't matter whether you've ever played a sport before or not. You can get really good at it, you can play socially, you can play competitively, so just do it.
It's been a lively event here in Southampton with plenty of competitive pickleball action. If you hadn't heard of the sport before, you certainly have now. Guy Nicklinson, Winchester News Online.
It was Derby Day on Sunday as the Winchester futsal first and second teams took on one another yet again. The first were able to secure their opening 3 points of their campaign last week against Bristol, while the twos came into this one yet to pick up a point after their first 2 games. Morgan Mitchener-Banks takes us through the action.
With tensions high and bragging rights at stake, the Winchester Seconds kicked off the game between these fierce rivals. And within just 9 seconds, the junior side took a shock lead after Sash Jae-Singh's low-driven shot snuck past keeper Harry Scanlan. Jae-Singh and the twos kept up their quick start, as the striker bagged 2 more in just 5 minutes to claim his hat-trick and send shockwaves through the sports hall. Things went from bad to worse for the first team, as the twos vice-captain Sam Friday produced a cheeky dink to give his side a surprising 4-0 lead, and matching his finish with a just as cheeky celebration. The first were trying to claw their way back into the game, grabbing goals through Corey McDowell and James Lowcock. But the senior side would be pegged back yet again by Tom Briggs's half volley, leaving the first team embarrassed going in 5-2 at half-time. The first tapped one home early in the second in the hopes to spur on a much-needed comeback if they wanted to leave this game with any pride. The game became increasingly scrappy as minutes went by, with the twos conceding 6 fouls over a short period, which gifted the ones a 10-metre penalty and a route back into the game. And while Sam Cunningham saw his tame effort saved, the rebound was smashed home by Toby Thompson to put the first in reaching distance of redemption. But it wasn't enough from the first team, as the twos netted 3 quick-fire goals in the space of 2 minutes to finish off a massive upset over the Winchester futsal first, and secure their first ever league victory over their senior counterparts. Whilst the first team captain left before he could get an interview, twos captain Louis Saunders couldn't have been happier with the thrashing of their senior foes.
It was bloody brilliant, mate. It was, fantastic. I thought the boys were amazing. I couldn't really give a negative response. I think we just wanted it more. I think we were aggressive, and obviously we beat them in the pre-season friendly, and I think it was the same sort of story here. We just wanted it completely more than them. So that's how you win games, really, isn't it? So.
Morgan Mitchener-Banks, Winchester News Online.
After 9 games without a win, Eastleigh were hoping for a turn in form as they faced Wealdstone at home. Elliot Norton was at the Silver Lake.
After 9 games without a win, Eastleigh needed to start strongly, and that's exactly what they did. After just 7 minutes of play, Noah Booting carried the ball through midfield before firing the Spitfires in front of his first goal for the club. The wind had been a problem throughout the day, with Wealdstone failing to play out from the back as they sent several goal kicks and long balls out of play. A few minutes later, Alex Reid had the chance to draw level for the Royals, but was unable to direct his header on target. Easily looked to extend their lead, as Paul McCullum timed his run perfectly to run in behind, but he fired his effort straight into the path of the Wealdstone keeper. The Royals continued to try and draw level. A low-driven cross found the feet of midfielder Max Kretschmar and prompted a good save from the Eastleigh keeper. Both teams wanted a goal before the break, with Eastleigh's Tyree Shade having his effort saved by the Wealdstone keeper, not hoping to be outdone. Goalkeeper Joe McDonnell saved this powerful shot from the edge of the box. Into the second half, and Eastleigh failed to make the most of the cross, as the ball into the box couldn't find a man in blue. And in the 65th minute, Eastleigh were made to pay for their lack of a finishing touch. Wilson's Sam Ashford broke through Eastleigh's back line before meeting the cross and delivering a cushioned header into the bottom corner. Both teams had chances to win the game, with Eastleigh delivering another free kick into the box, but a lack of control saw the chance go begging. Wealdstone's effort found their man at the back post, The header forced another save from Joel McDonald. The game finished Eastleigh 1, Wealdstone 1.
And for the large part of the game, we were banging it. We were on second balls. We were on even third contacts.
And now Callum Maggs takes us through the rest of the weekend's results. Let's see how they got on.
The international break is ended, which means club football is back. Here is your local football rundown. Kicking off in the Premier League, Southampton hosted Liverpool in a back-and-forth game that saw the Saints in the driver's seat for most of the match. However, Mohamed Salah had other ideas, putting the Reds ahead with 2 goals to seal the game 3-2. Southampton women's, however, could do what the men couldn't, grabbing all 3 points as they thrashed Portsmouth 4-0, thanks to a goal from Megan Collett and an Emma Thompson hat-trick. Aldershot Town took on Altrincham in a feisty affair of a match. Aldershot led 2-0 after half an hour, and a red card for Altrincham's Tom Crawford did the away side no favours. They did rally back a last-minute goal, but it wasn't enough to grab the point. Basingstoke Town went up against Tiverton in the Southern League Premier. The game was level up until the last 10 minutes, where Tiverton's Joe Parker put them in front, and a 96th minute goal from Kai Churchley really sealed the deal. A 7-goal thriller between Farnborough and Reston-super-Mare kept fans on the edge of their seats, with the game ending 4-3 in favour of the home side. And finally, Hartley-Wintney cruised past Southall 2-0 in the Southern League Division 1.
Now, it's been a historic few weeks in the world of parkrun. The fitness phenomenon celebrated its 20th anniversary back in October, and this month, Winchester saw its 500th edition of the event. Our reporter, Elliot McVie, went to find out what keeps people coming along.
Come rain or shine, at 9 AM every Saturday, hundreds of keen runners, joggers and walkers meet for a 5K at River Park. This free community event is open to people of all ages and abilities. In fact, you don't even need to be a human to take part. But with 500 editions under its belt, what is the appeal of parkrun, and how has it achieved such longevity?
It's become a huge part of my life. It's my Saturday morning. I've made so many friends through it, through running and volunteering. It's just the most amazing, supportive, welcoming community.
500 was a really big milestone for Winchester Parkrun. Obviously it's a big number and that's a fantastic thing to come and celebrate anyway. For me, it only takes dedication the once. As soon as you've come out 1 week and it's wet and muddy and windy, you think, how much worse could it get?
So whether you're one of the first across the finish line, or you prefer a more leisurely pace, parkrun can be enjoyable and fulfilling for all involved. Assuming you don't mind a bit of mud and rain, of course.
I usually run quite a bit, but it's so wet a day, but it's still made, it doesn't matter if you walk or run, you still, as long as you still do it, it's fine.
It's just seeing everybody, cheering them on. But I get encouragement back as well, so I get to see a lot of people in a short time and they're all really happy and quite inspiring to see people walk around and running around.
So less than ideal weather this morning as Storm Bert batters the UK, but spirits are high in the month that the Winchester Parkrun celebrates its 500th edition. Elliot McVie, Winchester News Online.
3-pointers were in abundance as University basketball tipped off once more. The Winchester Knights hosted a talented Cardiff side in their first cup game of the year. James Baker was there to see how they got on.
The Winchester Knights hosted the Cardiff Met Archers for the first cup game of the season. The Archers set the tone early on. Before long, sharpshooter Cian Davis found his range, knocking down not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 triples. Winchester needed an answer, and Will Masters answered the call. He had a game-high 38 on the day. Masters surged through contact for the bucket plus the foul, before lining up from behind the arc once more. After Davis went cold, Harry Jackson took the range and ripped off 9 straight for Cardiff. That time connected again with Masters for another throw, but Ravi Adiramuni answered with his own. It was off to the races for Masters with a steal off the inbounds. And Davis weaved his way in for a tough 2. Masters could give Winchester the lead with 19 seconds on the game clock. He made no mistake. Cardiff failed to get a clean look. Time expired and Winchester ran out winners, 73-72. I caught up with player of the game, Will Masters, afterwards.
Felt good, yeah. It's a team win though, everyone played their part. I'm happy.
victories, help the team out. It's everything. We can't lose here. This is our home, so send it back home.
James Baker, Winchester News Online.
And that's all your sport for today. Back to you, Olympia.
A fun-filled festival is back again in Portsmouth for its 10th running year, transforming the city into a dazzling gallery of illuminated art. I went to St Mary's Church in Fratton to find out more. We Shine Festival is back again in Portsmouth, celebrating its 10th year anniversary. Once a Sea, the exhibition on display, is a large sound, light and projection in the interior space of St Mary's Church, where it uses a fusion of archival imagery and time-lapse photography to showcase images from deep geological time. Outside in the courtyard, interactive activities are held, displaying colourful lights and objects. This includes a floating heart mirror ball, an LED hula hoop group for young ones, a towering 12-foot tall pedal-powered mandala wheel, and a heartfelt activity for parents to hang their decorated ornaments on the Circle of Hope, where it is put on display for everyone to see.
It's free, so yeah, brings all the families out, and luckily today we've got the weather, so that's good.
The last part of the night sees groups of parents and children eagerly waiting for the arrival of the Batala drummers alongside the Lantern Parade, with as many queuing up to the end of the road.
The event, second time I've been here, everyone's pretty joyful, yeah, I think it's good.
As the parade reach their final destination, they enter St Mary's Church for one last walk around the courtyard, displaying their lanterns where the event is at its busiest.
St Mary's Church is currently at its busiest, with people flocking to see what We Shine Portsmouth is all about. This is Olympia Akamrich for Winol News Online.
As we enter the hectic Christmas period, Isabel Jones has given you a chance to sit back, relax, and enjoy the beautiful music from the heart of Winchester.
The ensemble has been creating Christmas magic for over 3 decades. They've travelled across some of the UK's most beautiful cities, and tonight they kicked off the festivities here in Winchester Cathedral, just in time for December. The Viennese Christmas Spectacular by Candlelight, one of the many shows the London Concertante have planned for the coming months. The group began their festive tour in the heart of Winchester, and they plan to travel across the UK, spreading their holiday cheer. A night of music, giggles, and some even shed a tear or two. Winchester Cathedral is the home of Christmas for locals. The nostalgic markets that are infamous across the globe, stunning parades, phenomenal exhibitions and crafty workshops. There's something for everyone during the festive period. It truly is the season to be jolly. Isabel Jones, Winchester News Online.
And that's all we have time for this week. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.